On the Blacklist Season 10 Episode 5, Reddington and Vesco received the majority of our attention. Of course, given that they were only together for a brief portion of the program, that was ironic. With that said, let's spend a little time now moving into more theoretical ground. Does everything between Vesco and Reddington really know what it seems? Saying that there is a hidden twist that will eventually be revealed feels very simple at this point. Are Robert and Reddington collaborating to deceive Woojing? The thing that makes the greatest sense right now, in all honesty, is that Robert could have valued discretion if Reddington had genuinely admitted everything regarding the FBI task force, or at the very least, he might have understood why he let them make the arrests. Reddington and Vesco, in our opinion, have determined that he should go from this point onward as a kind of double agent because doing so will give him the chance to obtain insider knowledge. It's a wise strategy, but for a variety of reasons, it is also a very risky strategy. After all, there is a chance that Stacy Keach's character will be discovered and killed in this situation. We do believe there is at least an opportunity to learn more about Woojing's next move in advance. But what if Woojing gives him false information on purpose because he believes he is acting as a double agent? There is a potential for that as well. Right now, what we're really trying to communicate is that things are going to become messy. We would advise being somewhat ready for that in advance. 3 weeks earlier, we find Judge Alice Dockery looking over some documents when she starts to panic. She contacts Detective Patrick Fleming and tells him she has to speak to him immediately about a case and wants him to come right to her house because she is terrified. When he gets there, he discovers she is dead. He opens the front of her laptop and sees the name Bruno, which she was trying to correct. Red visits Herbie after receiving an invitation from him. He informs him that Holly made his bed with fresh sheets for him. Alice Dockery was assassinated after presiding over the case of prominent mob boss Paul Bruno, who is currently spending his golden years in prison, according to Herbie, who claims he requires his counsel on the murder. They need Herbie's assistance with the forensics as his son, Paul Jr., was detained following the murder. Everyone believes that the Bruno family should be put on trial for this crime. Red lets Cooper know he's in town by calling. He brings up the murder of Dockery. Things that are so obvious, according to Red, are occasionally not so evident when Paul Jr. is doing them. And Herbie doesn't believe Paul Jr. did it after reviewing certain forensic evidence. The task group is instructed by Cooper to quickly look under the hood. Start with Detective Patrick Fleming, he advises. He claims that Alice was afraid the night before she called him, according to Wrestler and Sia's conversation with him. He assures them that if they examine the case files, they would reach the same verdict as they did. Robert Vesco is with Woojing, who introduces himself as a fan who thinks he can learn a lot from them. Vesco rejects this. Woojing inquires as to his knowledge of Red's connection to the FBI. None of his business, claims Vesco. Woojing claims that Red have a friendship with advantages. Woojing informs him of the task force, which was created with Red's assistance to hunt down criminals similar to them and the reason he was detained. Red is collaborating with the FBI and utilizing them solely for his own benefit. He always exits in this manner at night. Red has committed wrongdoings, and Woojing wants him to be a part of the group of crooks he is putting together. Sia pays a visit to Herbie's residence and delivers the case-related materials he has been wanting to review. All of the suspects questioned by the task team have an alibi, even though they may have had motives for killing Judge Dockery. That was a bust, Wrestler informs Sia after 11 interviews. She needs to see something. Herbie phones Sia and says Judge Dockery could not have written Bruno on the laptop since she had her spinal cord severed. He claims when she walks over to his flat. Getting strangled was the cause of death. Cooper receives the information over the phone from Sia. Bruno's name was purposefully included to give the impression that Junior did it. When Wrestler visits Paul Bruno Sr. in jail, he informs him that they believe his son might have been set up. He claims that despite having made peace with his opponents, they are not to blame. According to Paul, the judge was secretive and had a lover. When Detective Patrick Fleming observes the task force inspecting Dockery's office, and they discover anything, he becomes irritated. A few weeks prior to her death, Frederick Moody wrote a threatening letter. According to Fleming, the threats the judge received were meaningless. Vesco goes to see Red and tells him that they need to talk since he recently met with Woojing, who made some interesting claims, including that Red was working for the federal government and was handing them over on a silver platter. He admitted to Woojing that he does not believe it, but Woojing is adamant and will not relent until he can demonstrate it. Wrestler and Sia visit Frederick Moody because he claims to be the author. Anton Johnson, the man who should be held accountable for his daughter's death, was allowed to leave by Judge Dockery. When Wrestler inquires about a flower in a frame, her mother replies that it was at her daughter's apartment. The same flower was in Dockery's office, as Ressler recalled. The task force phones Herbie and informs him of the flower they discovered at the scene of Dockery's murder. Herbie claims that these lollipops are strange, have a distinctive shimmer, and that he needs to conduct some tests, although they might originate from the same source. While a woman is touring Anton Johnson's house, she compliments him on how beautiful everything is. He claims it is his father's because he attended boarding school. His parents are both deceased. He serves them drinks as they raise a glass to stolen moments. Before she can fall, he scoops her body up and carries her to the bed as she begins to feel dizzy. He opens the door for Ressler and Sia when the doorbell rings. When Sia notices 2 glasses, she inquires if he has company. He replies that no, these are from last night. When Ressler inquires about Moody, he claims that after the trial, Moody viciously attacked him. The identical flowers that were given to Herbie can be seen when Ressler glances out the window. When Anton slips, he dials Dockery, Ollie. When Sia notices it, Anton confesses to having an affair with Dockery. Sia then hears a disturbance, turns to Anton, and says she mistakenly believed he was by himself. Herbie calls Ressler, and in the meantime, flowers with that sheen are growing on or next to human remains. Sia enters the house and enters a room where she notices the woman in bed waking up. Sia grabs her gun but gets sidetracked, and Anton kicks it out of her. However, when he turns to run, Ressler is there, so Anton is stopped. Back at the office, Ressler and Sia are speaking to Anton and informing him that they have dug up the flower bed and discovered 3 dead, 2 of which are his mother and 1 of which is the daughter of Moody. Anton claims that he didn't kill Ollie because she was unique and because he was his person, his savior, and his remedy. He finally claims that he was forced to kill Ollie when she reached into the drawer to fetch a pen after receiving a call while she was alone in the bedroom at his house. She discovered the necklace that Moody's daughter was wearing when she vanished. He was forced to kill her since there was nothing else he could do. He could still tell she loved him at the very end by the look in her eyes. He put her bloody finger on the keyboard and typed Bruno. Vesco visits Woojing and claims that when he pressed Red for the truth, Red admitted to cooperating with the FBI. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe.